various islands, beginning with Lakshadweep and the oceans that surround them. There is also a description of the location and dimensions of the mountain known as Loka Loka, the island of Plakshadweep, which is twice as broad as Jambudvipa, is surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The master of this island is Idmajjiva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. The island is divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a large river. The second island is called Shalmalidvipa. It is surrounded by an ocean of liquor and is 3,002,000 miles wide, twice as wide as Plakshadweep. The master of this island is Yajna Bahu, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. Like Plakshadweep, this island is also divided into 7 regions, each with a mountain and a very large river. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Chandra Ratna. The third island, which is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter and is also divided into 7 regions, is called Kushadweep. Its master is Hiranyareta, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata, and its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Agni, the fire god. The width of this island is 6,400,000 miles, or in other words, twice the width of Shalmalidvipa. The fourth island, Chadwipa, which is surrounded by an ocean of milk, is 12,800,000 miles wide and is also divided, like the others, into 7 regions each, with a large mountain and a large river. The master of this island is Rita Prishta, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. The inhabitants of this island worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of water. The fifth island, Sakadvipa, which is 25,600,000 miles wide, is surrounded by an ocean of yogurts. Interesting. Its master is Midas Pipi, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. It is also divided into 7 regions, each with a large mountain and a large river. Its inhabitants worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the form of Vayu, or air. The sixth island, Pushkaradvipa, which is twice as wide as the previous island, is surrounded by an ocean of clear water. Its master is Vitihotra, another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. The island is divided into 2 by a large mountain named Manasotara. The inhabitants of this island worship Swayambhu, another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Beyond Pushkaradvipa, there are 2 islands, one always lit by the sunshine and the other always dark. Between them is a mountain called Loka Loka, which is situated 1 billion miles. Wow. 1 billion miles from the edge of the universe. Wow. Lord Narayana, expanding his opulence, resides upon this mountain. The area beyond Loka Loka mountain is called Aloka Varsa, and beyond Aloka Varsa is the pure destination of persons who desire liberation. Vertically, the sun globe is situated just in the middle of the universe in Antarctica, the space between Burloka and Buvarloka. The distance between the sun and the circumferences and the circumference of Anda Goloka, the globe of the universe, is estimated to be 25 koti yojanas, 2 billion miles. Because the sun enters this universe and divides the sky, it is known as Martanda, and because it is produced from Hiranyagarbha, the body of the Mahatattva, it is also called Hiranyagarbha. Text number 1. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami said, "Hereafter I shall describe the dimensions, characteristics, and forms of the 6 islands, beginning with the island of Laksha." Oh, okay. As Sumeru mountain is surrounded by Jambudvipa, Jambudvipa is also surrounded by an ocean of salt water. The breadth of Jambudvipa is 100,000 yojanas, or 800,000 miles, and the breadth of the saltwater ocean is the same. As most as as a moat surround a fort is sometimes surrounded by garden-like forest. The saltwater ocean surrounding Jambudvipa is itself surrounded by Plakshadvipa. The breadth of Plakshadvipa is twice that of the saltwater ocean. In other words, 200,000 yojanas, 1,600,000 miles. On Plakshadvipa, there is a tree shining like gold and as tall as the Jambu tree on Jambudvipa. At its root is the fire with 7 flames. It is because what? This tree is a Plaksha tree that the island is called Plakshadvipa. Plakshadvipa was governed by Idmajiva, one of the sons of Maharaj Priyavrata. He endowed the 7 islands with the names of his 7 sons, divided the islands among the sons, and then retired from active life to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Oh, that's very smart. Text 3 and 4. The 7 islands, or Varsas, are named according to the names of those 7 sons: Shiva, Yavasa, Subhadra, Santa, Kshema, Amrita, Abhaya. Abhaya. In these 7 tracts of land, there are 7 mountains and 7 rivers. The mountains are named Manikuta, Vajrakuta, Indrasena, Jyotisman, Suparna, Hiranyasdeva, and Megan Amala. And the rivers are named Aruna, Nirmana, Angirasi, Savitri, Suptabhata, Ritambara, and Satyambara. One can immediately be free from material contamination by touching or bathing in those rivers. And the forecasts of people who live in Lakshadweep, the Hamsas, Patangas, Urdhvayanas, and Satyangas purified themselves in that way. And the inhabitants of Lakshadweep live for 1,000 years. They are beautiful like the demigods, and they also beget children like the demigods. By completely performing the ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas, and by worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead as represented by the sun god, they attain the sun, which is a heavenly planet. Purport, nice divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. According to general understanding, there are originally three deities: Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. And people with a poor fund of knowledge consider Lord Vishnu no better than Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. This conclusion, however, is invalid. As stated in the Vedas, Istapurtam Bahuda Jaya Manam Vishwam Vivarti Bhuvanasya Nabihi Tad Eva Ganesh Tad Vayustat Jaya Mana Vishwam Vivarti Bhuvanasya Nabi Tad Evagnis Tad Vayustat Jaya Manam Vishwam Vivarti Bhuvanasya Nabi Tad Evagnis Tad Vayustat Suryastat U Sandrama Agni Sarva Daivata. This means that the Supreme Lord who accepts and enjoys the results of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, technically called Istapurta, who maintains the entire creation, who supplies the necessities of all living entities, Eka Bahunam Yo Bodhidati Kaman, and who is the central point of all creation, is Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu expands as the demigods known as Agni, Vayu, Surya, and Chandra, who are simply parts and parcels of his body. Lord Krishna says in Srimad Bhagavatam, Gita 9.23, Yepe anya devata bhakta yajante shadayan vita tepi mam eva konteya yajanti avidya purvakam. Devotees who worship the demigods with firm faith worship me also, but not according to the regulative principles. In other words, if one worships the demigods but does not understand the relationship between the demigods and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his worship is irregular. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita 9.24, Aham isarvya jnanam bhoktacha evacha. I am the only enjoyer of ritualistic ceremonies. It may be argued that the demigods are as important as Lord Vishnu because the names of the demigods are different names of Vishnu. This, however, is not a sound conclusion, for it is contradicted in the Vedic literatures. The Vedas declare the demigod of the moon, Chandra, came from the mind of Narayana, and the sun god came from his eyes. The controlling deities of hearing and the life there came from Narayana, and the controlling deity of fire was generated from his mouth. Prajapati, the Lord Brahma, came from Narayana. Indra came from Narayana, and the 8 Vasus, the 11 expansions of Lord Shiva, and the 12 Adityas also came from Narayana. In the Smriti Vedic literature, it is also said Brahma, Shambhu, Surya, and Indra are all merely products of the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also true of the many other demigods whose names are not mentioned here. When the cosmic manifestation is annihilated, these different expansions of Narayana's potencies will merge into Narayana. In other words, all these demigods will die. Their living force will be withdrawn and they will merge into Narayana. Therefore, it should be concluded that Lord Vishnu, not Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a government officer is sometimes accepted as the entire government, although he is actually but a departmental manager. So the demigods, having achieved power of attorney from Vishnu, act on his behalf, although they are not as powerful as he. All the demigods must work under the order of Vishnu. Therefore, it is said, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasa Babritya. The only master is Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu, and all others are his obedient servants who act exactly according to his orders. The distinction between Lord Vishnu and the demigods is also expressed in Bhagavad Gita 9:25. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan Yanti Madhyajina Primam. Those who worship the demigods go to the planets of the demigods, whereas the worshippers of Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu go to the planets in Vaikuntha. These are the statements of the Smriti. Therefore, the idea that Lord Vishnu is on the same level as the demigods is a contradiction to the Shastras. The demigods are not supreme. The supremacy of the demigods is dependent on the mercy of Lord Narayana, Vishnu, or Krishna. Text number 5. This is the mantra by which the inhabitants of Lakshadvipa worship the Supreme Lord. Let us take shelter of the sun god, who is a reflection of Lord Vishnu, the all-expanding Supreme Personality of Godhead, the oldest of all persons. Vishnu is the only worshipable Lord. He is the Vedas. He is religion, and he is the origin of all auspicious and inauspicious results. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Vishnu is even the Supreme Lord of Death, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu Sarvaharas Chaham. There are 2 kinds of activity. auspicious and inauspicious, and both are controlled by Lord Vishnu. Inauspicious activities are said to be behind Lord Vishnu, whereas auspicious activities stand before him. The auspicious and inauspicious exist throughout the entire world, and Lord Vishnu is the controller of them both. Very powerful. In regard to this verse, Srila Madhvacharya says, Surya Samagni Varisha Vid Hatrishu Yata Kramam Pakshadi Dwipa Samstasu Stitam Harim Upasate. There are many lands, fields, mountains, and oceans throughout the creation, and everywhere the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipped by his different names. Sri Viraraghava Acharya explains this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam as follows. The original cause of the cosmic manifestation must be the oldest person and must therefore be beyond material transformations. He is the enjoyer of all auspicious activities and is the cause of conditional life and also liberation. The demigod Surya, who is categorized as a very powerful jiva or living entity, is a representation of one of the parts of his body. We are naturally subordinate to powerful living entities, and therefore we can worship the various demigods as living beings who are powerful representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although the worship of the Sun God is recommended in this mantra, he is worshipped not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but as his powerful representative. In the Katha Upanishads 131, it is said, Ritam pibanto sukritasya loke guham pravisto parame pararadhe Chayatapo va mavido vadanti pancha nayo ye chatri nachit kita. O Nachit Kita, the expansion of Lord Vishnu as the tiny living entity and the supersoul are both situated within the cave of the heart of this body. Having entered the cavity, the living entity resting on the chief of the life airs enjoys the results of activities, and the supersoul acting as witness enables him to enjoy them. Those who are well versed in knowledge of Brahman and those householders who carefully follow the Vedic regulations say that the difference between the two is like the difference between a shadow and the sun. In the Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.16, it is said, Sa Vishvakrit Vishvavid at May Oni Gna Kala Karo Guni Sarvavidya Pradana Chitragya Patir Gunesha Samsara Moksha Siddhi Bandha Hetu. The Supreme Lord, the creator of this cosmic manifestation, knows every nook and corner of his creation. Very important statement. Although he is the cause of creation, there is no cause for his appearance. He is fully aware of everything. He is the super soul, the master of all transcendental qualities, and he is the master of this cosmic manifestation in regard to bondage to the conditional state of material existence and liberation from that bondage. Similarly, in the Taittiriya Upanishad 2.8, it is said, Visasmad vata pavate visodeti surya Bhishmad Bhishmasmad Agnis Chandrascha Mrityu Davati Panchama. It is out of fear of the Supreme Brahman that the wind is blowing, out of fear of him that the sun regularly rises and sets, and out of fear of him that 5 acts. It is only due to fear of him that death and Indra, the king of heaven, perform their respective duties. As described in this chapter, the inhabitants of the 5 islands, beginning with Plakshadvipa, worship the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, the air god, and Lord Brahma, respectively. Although they engage in the worship of these 5 demigods, however, they actually worship Lord Vishnu, the super soul of all living entities, as indicated in this verse by the words Pratnasya Vishnu Rupam. Vishnu is Brahma, Amrita, Mrityu, the supreme Brahman, and the origin of everything, auspicious and inauspicious. He is continued in the he is situated in the heart of everyone, including all the demigods. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7:20, Tamais taistar jnana prapadyante niyadivata. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto the demigods. People who are almost blind because of lusty desires are recommended to worship the demigods to have their material desires fulfilled. But actually, those desires are not fulfilled by the material demigods. Whatever the demigods do is done with the sanction of Lord Vishnu. People who are too lusty worship various demigods instead of worshiping Lord Vishnu, the soul of all living entities, the super soul of all living entities. But ultimately, it is Lord Vishnu they worship because he is the super soul of all demigods. Text number 6. O king, longevity, sensory prowess, physical and mental strength, intelligence, and bravery are naturally and equally manifested in all the inhabitants of the 5 islands headed by Plaksha Dvipa. Text 7. Lakshadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of sugarcane juice, equal in breadth to the island itself. Similarly, there is another island, Salmalidvipa, twice as broad as Lakshadvipa, 400,000 yojanas, or 3,200,000 miles, and surrounded by an equally broad body of water called Surasaga, the ocean that takes liquor, that tastes like liquor. The ocean that tastes like liquor. Text 8. On Salmalidvipa, there is a salmali tree from which the island takes its name. That tree is as broad and tall as the plaksha tree. In other words, 100 yojanas, or 800 miles broad, and 1,100 yojanas, or 8,800,000 miles tall. Learned scholars say that this gigantic tree is the residence of Garuda, the king of all birds and carrier of Lord Vishnu. In that tree, Garuda offers Lord Vishnu his Vedic prayers. Text number 9. The son of Maharaj Priyavrata, named Yajnabahu, and the master of Salmalidvipa, divided the island into 7 tracts of land, which he gave to his 7 sons. The names of those divisions, which correspond to the names of the sons, are Surochana, Shomanasya, Ramanaka, Devavarsi, Paribhadra, Apyayana, Avigyata. Avigyata. No, Avignata. Yeah, Avignata. Text number 10. In those tracts of land, there are 7 mountains: Swarasa, Sataringa, Vamadeva, Kunda, Mukunda, Pushpavarsa, and Sahasrashruti. There are also 7 rivers: Anumati, Sinivali, Saravati, Kuhu, Rajana, Nanda, and Raka. They are still existing. Okay, text number 11. Strictly following the cult of Varnasrama Dharma, the inhabitants of those islands, who are known as the Shrutidara, Viryadharas, Vasundaras, and Isa Andars, all worship the expansion of the Supreme Personality Godhead named Soma, the moon god. Text 12. The inhabitants of Salamali Dvipa worship the demigod of the moon in the following words: by his own rays, the moon god has divided the months into 2 fortnights, known as Sukla and Krishna, for the distribution of food grains to the Pitas and the demigods. The demigod of the moon is he who divides time, and he is the king of all the residents of the universe. We therefore pray that he may remain our king and guide, and we offer him our respectful obeisances. Text number 13. Outside the ocean of liquor is another island known as Kushadvipa, which is 800,000 yojanas, or 6,400,000 miles wide, twice as wide as the ocean of liquor. As Salmadi Dvipa is surrounded by a liquor ocean, Kushadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of liquid ghee, as broad as the island itself. On Kushadvipa, there are clumps of kusha grass, from which the island takes its name. This kusha grass, which was created by the demigod by will of the Supreme Lord, appears like a second form of fire, but with very mild and pleasing flames. Its young shoots illuminate all directions. Purport: from the descriptions in this verse, we can make and educated guess about the nature of the flames on the moon. Like the sun, the moon must also be full of flames because without flames there cannot be illumination. The flames on the moon, however, unlike those on the sun, must be mild and pleasing. Oh, well, that's good. This is our conviction. We believe this. The modern theory that the moon is full of dust is not accepted in the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. In regard to this verse, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says, Susapani Sukola Siksha Tatsam Rochisa, the kusa grass illuminated all directions, but its flames are very mild and pleasing. This gives some idea of the flames existing on the moon. Text 14. O king, another son of Maharaja Priyavrata, Hiranyareta, was the king of this island. He divided it into 7 parts, which he delivered to his 7 sons according to the rights of inheritance. The king then retired from family life to engage in austerities. The name of those sons are Vasudana, Ruchi, Stuti Vrata, Nabi Gupta, Vivita, and Vama Deva. Vama Deva, yeah, Vama Deva. Text 15. In those 7 islands, there are 7 boundary mountains known as Chakra, Chatus, Shringa, Kapila, Chitrakuta, Devanika, Urdhva, and Dravina. There are also 7 rivers known as Rama Kulia, Madhu Kulia, Mitra Vinda, Shruta Vinda, Devagarbi, Grita Shuta, Mancha Mala. Text 16. The inhabitants of the island of Kushadvipa are celebrated as Kushalas, Kovidas, Abhiyuktas, and Kulakas. They are like the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras, respectively. By bathing in the waters of those rivers, they all become purified. They are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies according to the orders of the Vedas instructions. Thus, they worship the Lord in his aspect as the deep demigod of fire. Text 17. This is the mantra which the inhabitants of Kusadvipa worship the fire god. O fire god, you are a part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and you carry to him all the offerings of sacrifices. Therefore, we request you to offer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead the yajnik ingredients we are offering the demigods, for the Lord is the real enjoyer. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The demigods are servants who assist the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one worships the demigods as servants of the Supreme, carry the sacrificial offerings to the Lord, like tax collectors collecting revenue from the citizens and bringing it to the government's treasury. The demigods cannot accept the sacrificial offerings. They simply carry the offerings to the Supreme Personality of God. As stated by Srila Viswanatha Chakravarti Thakura, Yasya Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada. Since the Guru is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he carries to the Lord whatever is offered to him. Similarly, all the demigods, as faithful servants of the Supreme Lord, hand over to the Supreme Lord whatever is offered to them in sacrificial performances. There is no fault in worshiping the demigods with this understanding, but to think that the demigods are independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and equal to him is called Krita Jnana, a loss of intelligence. Kamaistai Krita Jnana, one who thinks that the demigods themselves are the actual benefactors is mistaken. Text number 18. Outside the ocean of clarified butter is another island known as Kronchadripa, which has a width of 1,600,000 yojanas, or 12,800,000 miles, twice the width of the ocean of clarified butter. As Kushadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of clarified butter, Kronacharida is surrounded by an ocean of milk as broad as the island itself. And on Kronchadvipa, there is a great mountain known as Kroncha, from which the island takes its name. Although the vegetables living on the slopes of Mount Kroncha were attacked and devastated by the weapons of Kartikeya, the mountain has become fearless because it is always bathed on all sides by the ocean of milk and protected by Varuna Deva. Oh, well, that's good news. Text 20. The ruler of this island is another son of Maharaj Priyavrata. His name is Grita Krista, and he was a very learned scholar. He also divided his own island among his 7 sons. After dividing the island into 7 parts, named according to the names of his sons, Grita Krista Maharaja completely retired from family life and took to shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, the soul of all souls, who has all auspicious qualities. Thus he attained perfection. Text 21. The sons of Maharaja Grita Prista were named Ama, Madhuruha, Mega Prista, Sudhama, Virajista, Lohitarna, and Vanaspati. In their island, there are 7 mountains, which indicate the boundaries of the 7 tracts of land, and there are also 7 rivers. The mountains are named Sukla, Vardhamana, Mojana, Upabarhina, Nanda, and Nandana, and Swarvatobhadra. The rivers are named Abhaya, Amritalda, Aryaka, Tirthavati, Rupavati, Pavitravati, and Sukla. Text 22. The inhabitants of Kronchadvipa are divided into four castes called the Purushas, Rishabhas, Dravinas, and Devakas. Using the waters of those sanctified rivers, they worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by offering a palm of water at the lotus feet of Varuna, the demigod, who has a form of water. A form of water. Purport. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur says, Apumaya Asmayam, with joined palms, the inhabitants of the various sections of Kronnacha Dwipa offer the sanctified waters of the rivers to a deity made of stone or iron. Okay. Text number 23. The inhabitants of Kronachadvipa worship with this mantra: O water of the rivers, you have obtained energy from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you purify the three planetary systems known as Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, and Swarloka. By your constitutional nature, you take away sins and this sin, and that is why we are touching you. Kindly continue to purify us. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Bhumir apo nalo vayu, kam mano buddhir eva cha, ahankara iti yame bina prakrtir astada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these eight comprise my separated material energies. The energy of the Lord acts throughout the creation, just as heat and light, the energies of the sun, act within the universe and make everything work. The specific rivers mentioned in the Shastras are also energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and people who regularly bathe in them are purified. It can actually be seen that many good people are cured. Many good people are cured of diseases simply by bathing in the Ganges. Similarly, the inhabitants of Kronchadvipa purify themselves by bathing in the rivers there. Text 24. Outside the ocean of milk is another island, Sakadvipa, which has a width of 3,200,000 yojanas, 25,600 miles. No, wait a minute. 25,600,000 miles. As Kronchadvipa is surrounded by its own ocean of milk, Sakadvipa is surrounded by an ocean of churned yogurt, as broad as the island itself. In Sakadvipa, there is a big saka tree from which the island takes its name. This tree is very fragrant indeed. It tends its scent to the entire island. Text 25. The master of this island, also one of the sons of Priyavrata, was known as Medha Piti. He also divided his island into 7 sections, named according to the names of his own sons, whom he made the kings of that island. The names of those sons are Purojava, Manojava, Pavamana, Druma, Drumranika, Chitrarepa, Bahur and Vishwadhara. After dividing the island and situating his sons as its rulers, Medaditi personally retired, and to fix his mind completely upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he entered a forest uh, suitable for meditation. Text 26. For these lands also there are 7 boundary mountains and 7 rivers. The mountains are Isana, Urusringa, Balabhadra, Sata Keshara, Sahasrastrota, Devapala, and Mahanansa. The rivers are Anaga, Ayurda, Ubaya Spriti, Aparajitya, Panchapadi, Sahasro, Srasra, Rutas, right, Saharasruti, Nijadriti. Text 27. The inhabitants of those islands are also divided into 4 castes: Ritavrata, Satavrata, Dhanavrata, and Anuvrata, which exactly resemble Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. They practice pranayama and mystic yoga, and in trance they worship the Supreme Lord as the form of Vayu. Okay, I think we'll do just one more. Text 28. The inhabitants of Sakadvipa worship the Supreme Personality of God in the form of Vayu in the following words: O Supreme Person, situated as the Supersoul within the body, you direct the various actions of different airs, such as prana, and thus you maintain all living entities, O Lord, O Supersoul of everyone, O Controller of the cosmic manifestation, under whom everything exists. May you protect us from all dangers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Through the mystic yoga practice called pranayama, the yogi controls the airs within the body to maintain the body as a healthy to maintain the body in a healthy condition. In this way, the yogi comes to the point of trance and tries to see the supersoul within the core of his heart. Pranayama is the means to attain samadhi, trance, in order to fully absorb oneself in seeing the Supreme Lord as Antaryami, the supersoul within the core of the heart. Okay, I think we're finished right now. We'll stop at text 29. Anyway, let me just read text 29. Outside the ocean of yogurt is another island known as Pushkara Dwipa, which is 6,400,000 yojanas, or 51,200,000 miles wide, twice as wide as the ocean of yogurt. It is surrounded by an ocean of very tasteful water as broad as the island itself. On Pushkara Dwipa, there is a great lotus flower with 100 million pure golden petals, as effulgent as the flames of fire. That lotus flower is considered the sitting place of Lord Brahma. who is the most powerful living being, and who is therefore sometimes called Bhagavan or Bhagavan. Okay, we'll stop right there. Uh, text 29. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, our takeaway from today is the purport to text number 28. Through the mystic yoga practice called pranayama, the yogi controls the airs within the body to maintain the body in a healthy condition. In this way, the yogi comes to the point of trance and tries to see the supersoul within the core of his heart. Pranayama is the means to attain samadhi, trance, in order to fully absorb oneself in seeing the Supreme Lord as Antaryami, the supersoul within the core of the heart. Well, that is very profound purports. And okay, well, I don't have anything else to say about that, other than through mystic yoga practice called pranayama, the yogi controls the airs within the body to maintain the body in a healthy condition. In this way, the yogi comes to the point of trance and tries to see the supersoul within the core of his heart. Pranayama is the means to attain samadhi, trance, in order to fully absorb oneself in seeing the Supreme Lord as Antaryami, super soul, within the core of the heart. Very nice statement. And we will end right there. Are there any questions or comments? Obviously, this is called the Canto 5, Chapter 20. It's all about the structure of the universe. Okay, I think we'll end right there. My dear devotees, please chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Today's Ananda Mela.
And if you have two legs and one head, come to Ananda Mela. If you have more than one head, don't come. Haribol.